Good morning, guys. It is July 1st, so we're starting Sync 60. I'm very excited, and I hope you guys are excited as well. I hope you've put some thought into actually buckling down, putting down your goals, your long-term 60-day goal, and also breaking it up into your weekly goals. Before we get started today, I want to do one quick little reminder for how to find the Sync 60 course, how to find the progress chart. I've had a lot of questions about that. So if you're here on the web platform, the browser platform, on the left side of the screen, you'll see all of this information. If you don't see it, usually it's because you haven't clicked these three lines up here on the upper left-hand side of the screen. If you're on mobile, you'll see just these three lines. I don't think it'll automatically populate, so you do have to click on that, and then it'll pull down all of these other options for you, okay? So you need to go to courses, okay? Scroll down second to bottom, click on courses. Here's where you should see the Sync 60 challenge and the main Sync Academy tutorials. If you don't see Sync 60 here, try clicking on top or newest. Okay, if you haven't joined either one, it's possible. I've had some members say that they only see the Sync Academy tutorials, but they don't see Sync 60. So try clicking any of these that you haven't tried yet. But you should be seeing this immediately, Sync 60 challenge. You can join it immediately, instantly. It's open for all Sync Academy members, and please do join it. And this is where you're going to find the week-by-week tutorials that I'm going to release, as well as where the progress chart is held. Okay, so this is where you need to find that. So you click on the Sync 60 challenge, and now you are inside of the actual course, the Sync 60 mini course that we have here within the platform. So as you can see right here, if you don't see any of these tutorials, actually you guys can see the ones that are grayed out. You guys won't see these until the week actually comes. You might see it like this, where it doesn't look like anything's going on. There's really no tutorials to see. And this is where I think people get confused, because they're like, well, where are the tutorials? I don't see anything. Okay, so you can either click on continue. That'll take you to the page where you can actually see the first one that I've released, which is setting your goal and creating a schedule. This is definitely something you guys should be watching. Sorry, my video is in the way, but right up here, you'll see this one released for sure. If you don't want to go there, all you have to do is click on this little triangle to the right side of the Sync 60 challenge, and it'll drop down and show you which tutorials are available right now. So those are definitely the ones that you need to make sure that you're watching. Again, every single week, pretty much every Monday starting today, these will become available 1 week at a time. So this week, we're just talking about, of course, setting your goal. How can you make sure that it's achievable and realistic for yourself? And then creating that daily and weekly schedule to basically make those commitments necessary, okay? So that's where the tutorials are for the progress chart. All you're gonna do, scroll down a little bit more, you'll see this little featured section, right? This is on mobile and the web. You should just click on this. And this is where you can either just click on, I know my thing's in the way here. You can either just click on the Excel sheet icon right here, or I even have the actual direct link right here, the Google Doc direct link. And when you click on that, you'll go directly to our Sync 60 progress chart. We've already had, let's see if I can scroll down a little bit more. 84 of you put in your goals and fill out this. So that's really, really great. That's actually a lot more than got started initially on our last Sync 60 challenge. As the challenge went on, more and more people started to jump in, but that's a lot more than we had last time when we first got started. I think we had maybe only 50 last time. So this is really good that more of you are from day one taking this a lot more seriously and committing to it. If you haven't filled this out, real quick, I've had people fill out the wrong way so many times. What you're going to do first is this is what you're not going to do, where it says name up here. Don't fill out this exact box up here, like click this and delete that and put in your Sync 60 goal. This is not for you, okay? You need to scroll down on the chart all the way to the bottom where the next available spot is. So this one would be row 85 down here, okay? Put it in your name. Even if it's not in alphabetical order, I will alphabetize this, okay? You don't need to make sure that you insert something in the right place. Just go to the very bottom, fill in your information, your Sync 60 goal, and then week by week go through here and fill out exactly what you want to have accomplished every single week. And of course, you're not going to fill out this accomplished column for each week until we've completed that, right? So usually you're going to wait until the following Monday. So not obviously today, there's nothing to fill out because you're now starting today working on week one's goal. When we start week 2 next Monday, that's when you can go to this accomplished column right here for the first week to say yes or no. did you accomplish it, okay? So just make sure you do that, and be very careful. I've had some people accidentally delete other people's information, other people's goals. Of course, this is auto-saved every like second, basically. So anytime there's a change made, it'll auto-save. So if something massively gets wiped out, I can always go back and restore to where it was. But please be very mindful of that. Be very careful. This is a very, obviously, editable Excel sheet here, so we can really screw things up really bad. So just make sure you're careful about that. Just put in your name here, go through there, and once I go through and see that there's maybe 5 or 10 more people added to the list, then I go through and I will alphabetize it. So when you come back, you might not be at the bottom anymore if you had an A and it's alphabetized by your first name. So if you have an A for your first name, you'll actually see the next time you log in, it'll show you at the very top or close to the top. So just be aware of that nobody's deleted your stuff. It just gets alphabetized every probably every day or so. We get more people that are filling this out. So I'm really excited to see that you guys are obviously participating and taking this very seriously. And again, just make sure every single week you log in, you click that yes column. And the idea, obviously, with all of this is, as you can see, already there's 84 other producers that are doing something in this manner in terms of they're also buckling down, focusing on what their goals are going to be, and are actually going to be working just as hard as you are. So that's the big reason why Sync 60 is so powerful for a lot of us, is just to know you're not alone. You're not going to be the only one going for this and really taking those, making those sacrifices and doing what you got to do to make sure that you achieve your goals. Okay, so that's what this is all about. So hopefully you guys just logging in here, just seeing how many other people are taking this seriously also is just a motivating factor for you as well, to know that you're not the only one doing this stuff. It's really, really cool. So Travis, good morning. Dare to be different, good morning. And Rob, all right. I think we have more. Yeah, we got 10 of you guys watching. Go ahead and jump in the chat with us, guys. Say good morning. Let me know who else is here. But if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns about getting started with the Sync 60 challenge, go ahead and put it in the chat. I'll be happy to answer any possible questions that I can. One question I've gotten a few times from a few different members, even new coming members that just joined or are thinking about joining, is the idea of, well, if I just want to learn how to use my DAW a little better, could I use Sync 60 to do that? Is that just something that's not going to work for me? The beauty of Sync 60 is you can do whatever you want. You can literally set any goal you want. Of course, I want to make sure you guys are going to set a realistic goal, okay? Getting to full-time income in 60 days is probably not going to happen, all right? I don't want to shoot in the foot completely your hopes and dreams there and be a dream killer, but just realistically, that's not how fast this industry works. It just takes time to get to the point. But you can certainly, in 60 days, build up an album, get a 10-track album, and shop it to a library and get a contract signed and negotiated. That might seem like crazy amount of work to you, but that is absolutely something you can potentially do as long as you're able to create a workable flow so that you can crank out enough tracks. Probably you need to have your album done by week 6. Week 6 or week 7, and then by the last week or two, you start that shopping process. And maybe if they get back to you, and a lot of these libraries will get back to you within a day or two, you can have that contract negotiated and signed, and you've got a foot in the door within 60 days of being in this industry, okay? It's certainly possible. I'm not going to say that's easy, and that's not going to be the norm for all producers. It's going to take a lot of focus and a lot of dedication. So if you're feeling like your workflow is fast enough, you can do that. You've got a solid enough idea of what it means to have a licensable track and to produce a licensable track and put together a really solid album and pitch it to the right library that you've researched so that you know your music is going to really serve their clients well. That's all very possible. But if that's way off in the distance from you and you're just in the process of, I need to learn how to use Cubase or Ableton or Logic or Pro Tools, I'm just kind of in the very beginning stages, that's okay too. There's no goal that's too small. There's no sort of skill that's too small to really focus and get really great at for the next 60 days. So if it's just literally you need to block out all other distractions in terms of, I don't want to worry about anything else other than how to use Logic Pro better, how to really get my hands around it, then that's what you need to do, is every single week still stick to maybe cranking out 1 track a week, maybe if you can get up to 2, but push yourself to always complete the track that you start. Never just get 30 minutes into a track and just burn out on it and try another one, because you'll constantly do that and you really never will progress. So it's really important that when you start something, you finish it. And by pushing yourself and making yourself finish it, also by using the tutorials in Sync Academy, that's what they're there for, but by pushing yourself to finish your tracks, producing, mixing, and mastering, even if they're not great, just give yourself that permission. The next 60 days, just give yourself the pass that, none of these tracks are going to be ones that I submit off to a library to try to get licensed. This is just my sketching process. This is just my ability to get through the sort of phase of learning how to produce music in this fashion so that I can get better at it. Give yourself that pass. And so you don't have to have the goal of getting your tracks licensed at the end of 60 days. But at the end of 60 days, you should be able to be much more comfortable around your DAW program, right? You know how to stack a session easier. You know how to create a template maybe. You've basically spent these 60 days getting to know your samples and the libraries that you have access to. Maybe even just the stuff that's built into your DAW. I know Logic Pro has an incredible range of awesome sounds, and you just maybe don't know how to find them. And when you're looking for sounds now, you kind of get lost in the crate of just looking for thousands of different sounds, and you don't really know what you like and what's in there, what's even included. So you're spending a lot of time auditioning sounds. Well, maybe that's what you need to spend the next 60 days on, is just making sure you really understand all of your samples, your synths, your drums, your strings, all the plugins, and just how to use all this kind of stuff, right? And just focus on one thing at a time. So if that's where you are, maybe week one, you're just only about drums, right? Just spend the entire week programming, playing with, producing, mixing, and mastering drums, and just really getting to know what your DAW program can do with the drums that you have, with the sample libraries that you have. Maybe you want to invest in some new sample libraries or some drum libraries, whatever it is that you feel you need to do for your given genre. And then week two, you can move on to strings or piano, right? So you can really break this stuff up into smaller things so you can literally focus. That's the important thing. It's zeroing out all the other stuff that's not as important right now and just really focusing on the thing that you really need to get good at. I know that if I went back and I was doing this in 2010 when I was a couple years into this business, I would have spent the 60 days focusing only on mixing and mastering. I would have taken tracks that I've already produced. I wouldn't even work, because I think the producing side I had fairly well. I had some great musical ideas. But my mixing and mastering skills, whenever I would play my songs next to other tracks in the libraries I was distributed through, my tracks didn't stand up. They weren't loud enough. They weren't impactful enough. They didn't have a large enough EQ range. They weren't stereo spread as much. They just didn't pop out of the speakers in the way that other people's tracks did. And I always was insecure about that. I never liked to hear that. So if I had something like this, that would have been where I did some soul searching and realized, you know what, this is my big stumbling block. I really need to just work on mixing and mastering. And what I would have done is taken all of my unfinished tracks and grabbed reference tracks of fully mixed and produced, professionally mixed and mastered tracks that I think sound great, or maybe even going to the libraries that I was distributed through. And, if I couldn't download the track, a lot of times you can't, just keeping it up on a browser window next to my, Logic Pro screen, and just A/B testing my mixes with theirs for 60 days. Like, that's all I would have done for an entire 60 days. I can guarantee you, if I had that kind of focus for 60 days, my mixes and mastering, they would have improved dramatically very quickly. Now, in time, my mixing and mastering skills did improve, but it was a slow progression over the years. And if I had something like this where I could really focus on it, I would have sped up my progress much quicker. And that's what I want you guys to do with this, is to really just speed up your process and not have to do the long-term, sort of dragging your feet and slowly getting better over time, but really sort of seeing a measurable result. Like, if you do Sync 60 right, you should see a big difference in your productivity, your approach, the quality of your tracks, the quality of your mixing, quality of your skills, just your familiarity with your programs. You should really feel that within the end of the 2 months here. That's what it's really about. So, all right, we got some more people. Shelby, Charlie, good morning. 9DM. Awesome. Shelby, you're pumped for the challenge. Amazing how motivational it is to see everyone else's goals. That's great. Tezzy, good morning. Dave, good morning. Asif, good morning. All right, guys. So that's what I wanted to get across to you guys. Make sure you do fill out your progress chart. Do this, okay? Don't be a passive. We've even got a couple more people already joining up now, which is great. Don't be a passive watcher. Don't just watch this thing happening and watching other people do it. Please do jump in and participate. The more you guys participate, the more that you guys give, the more the energy you put into this, I guarantee you the more you're going to get out of it. Okay, it is not a spectator sport, Sync 60. You have to be participating. You have to be on the field with us. You have to be working with us to do this kind of thing. So I would like to see this time even more people marking yes every single week on this accomplished goal right here, column D. I want to see every single week all of you guys posting and saying yes, you've done this, okay? And if you have to say no, that's fine. Be honest. That's a really important thing, though. Just be honest. Don't lie. Just say yes when you know you didn't. be honest and say no. What that's going to do is it's going to lodge a little bit of something new in your brain, which is, it's essentially you're kind of making a commitment to the community that you were going to do something, and now publicly everybody can see that you didn't get that done. So that's going to put a little bit of pressure in your mind to say, you know what, I better catch up so that next week I can say, yes, I did catch up and I'm back on track. That's really what this is supposed to be doing for you guys. Because when we do this by ourselves and we just say to ourselves, I would like to do 10 tracks in 2 months, but you don't tell anybody, there's nobody that knows you're doing this, and you have no sort of community to create that accountability, well, you can just flake out after a week or two and nobody really knows. So you don't really feel that embarrassed about it. You don't really feel, you might personally feel a little bit ashamed, but not much, because you're like, nobody knows that I was going for this. And so whatever, really. It's like, it's really just all in your head. But this is now not all in your head. This is now in our community. Now we can all see what we're all doing. Okay, so it's really important to create that accountability. Also share it if you want to with your social media, with your family, with your friends. Let as many people as you know about what you're working on, and even let them know, guys, hey, this is my week's goal. I'm going to get 2 tracks done, and then give an update to people and let them know, yes, I did it. I got it done. Your friends and family will care about you, and they'll care about you accomplishing your goals. But again, you're putting yourself on the line out there by publicizing it and letting everybody know, hey, this is going to be achieved and this is going to be done by X date. Now you know that there's other people aware of that goal that you've set for yourself. It's just one of those things for us as human beings. It just keeps us more motivated, and it pushes us to make sure that we don't let ourselves down by kind of letting everybody else around us down, and by looking like a flake or looking like somebody who just can't maintain a weekly goal, right? We want to show everybody around us, especially your friends and family that might have doubts about what you're doing. This will also show them how serious you are about this and how professional you're going to be about sync licensing. So again, it'll help build confidence in yourself through your publishing, talking about your goals, and then nailing them, hitting the deadline every single week. It's a really important thing to do. So we got some more people here. Dennis, good morning. Dennis is asking, would it be better to have 100 tracks ready before shopping the libraries? No, you don't have to wait till you have 100 tracks. I think that's that's overkill. Full album, 10 to 12 tracks. You can go to a library at that point, and you've got a really solid pitch to them. So no, you don't need to go overboard with 100 tracks. If you want to, you certainly can, but I would say, rather than, that's a good commitment of time. That could be even 6 months to a year, probably a year's worth of work before you even start building relationships. I would say, get your full album ready to go, and then build that relationship right off the bat. Now that you have a relationship, build up to that 100 tracks inside of their catalog, right? Because now you've got a place where those tracks can land. If you spend that much time creating 100 tracks, not sure where they're going to land, it's a bit more risky, right? Because you spend a lot more time on that. Not sharing. It's kind of like somebody who wants to start manufacturing, like, widgets, some sort of a gadget that they want to send to the marketplace. Well, is it better to produce 100, or let's say produce 10 of them and try to get those sold, or is it better to go spend thousands of dollars producing 100 or 1,000 of these widgets and then trying to sell them? It's smarter to start with a small amount, see if there's a demand for your music, try to get that establishment, get that relationship built, then you can scale at that point, right? All right, Marcel, good morning. Jason, good morning. Excited about this 8-week challenge, setting my goals as realistic as possible. That's great, man. You're doing it right. All right, Rob was making a green smoothie. Good move, man. I've been getting back into those. I stopped those for a while. I just it's one of those things, like, I need to set a reminder on my phone or just put a Post-it note up, because for many months I forgot about that green smoothie. But recently I got back into it, and I went to the store and I grabbed a whole bunch of kale. And now the update that I made on that was, instead of using like coconut milk or almond milk, whatever I was talking about in that YouTube video, now I do, it was almond milk I did. Now I do actual coconut cream, or whatever they call it, coconut milk from the can, the stuff that's really thick, and it has some liquid in it as well, but it's really thick. It's basically like, I don't know exactly how they do it, but they basically take the meat of the coconut, and it's in a can. And they actually call it coconut milk, but actually like a half or 2/3 of it is actually solid cream, so it's coconut cream. Really good fat, really good for you, great brain food. And now I throw that in my green shake with the kale and all the other good stuff. So you guys should check that out if you want to. So anyways, all right, guys, I'm going to hop off now. Thank you so much for logging in. Let's get started. Let's start this off with a bang. I want to see some great goals and some week-by-week stuff set there. Again, I walked you guys through how to find the course. You guys can watch back at the beginning of this video. I'll make this available on the platform afterwards. So make sure you do watch that so you can follow along, join with us, and every single week have a new tutorial you guys have access to. Oh, and of course, the big thing I should have talked about, those 4 new tutorials are now available in the Sync Academy tutorial section. So if you check your notifications, which is on the upper right-hand corner of your platform, mobile or web, you'll see the little bell icon. Click on that and you'll see that there's actually 4 new very powerful, very insightful tutorials that you guys do need to watch. Definitely watch all of them. They're going to be really powerful for you. I think especially the exclusive versus non-exclusive PowerPoint presentation that I just released. This is going to tell you guys my personal approach, how it worked for me, but also how it can work for you as well, and what strategies that I sort of say you can follow in this business to really be successful. And there's pros and cons to all of them, okay? There's not one that's the best, but depending on what your goals are and what you want to do and what you see for yourself long-term in this industry, you should basically pay attention to those goals you have for yourself, match it up with essentially 4 strategies that I outlined in that video. So definitely check that out. Really powerful stuff has just landed here in Sync Academy. All right, guys, so let's start it off strong. Let's make sure all of us this week click yes on that accomplished goal.